is Cheryl Davis, and I'm introducing my audience. Thank you for coming.
Hello.
I want to inform you on the importance of nursing practice. Have you ever wondered which sector employs the largest number of individuals in the United States? Healthcare. Healthcare and social assistance, according to the 2020 Census Bureau, employs the largest number of individuals. We nurses outnumber physicians 4-1. Healthcare would collapse if not for nurses. This speech will inform you on the importance of nursing practice and discuss what nurses do and how their practice has improved healthcare. First, it's important to understand that nursing plays by its own unique set of rules. Nurses do more than give shots and medicine. We do wound care, we check blood sugars, we teach. One does not need formal training to become a nurse. Harriet Tubman, according to the book, The Story of Nursing and Its Power to Change the World, Harriet Tubman was known for leading thousands of slaves to freedom before the Civil War. But did you know that she was also a nurse during the Civil War? Nursing began in homes, in churches, long before hospitals were invented. Formal training for nurses came during the Crimean War of 1853. The nurses noticed that the doctors were going from patient to patient and not washing their hands in between. Florence Nightingale, they called her the lady with the lamp because she would come to the soldiers' beds at night. And what she did, she implemented strict hand washing, which decreased the mortality down to 10%. And this was in the Crimean War in Turkey. And that's where Florence Nightingale began her practice. She was from a wealthy family, and what she did, she used her influence to start training nurses. She wrote the first nursing book, and she also helped to help women and soldiers. And she worked in peacetime as well as wartime, and her contributions continue today. And that is according to the book, Nursing and How the Practice of Nursing Has Changed the World. Nurses play a vital part in the evolution of every aspect of medical practice and every disease outbreak. During COVID-19 and the Spanish flu, there was a challenge to nursing, and through outbreaks, nursing does its best work. COVID-19, with people dying by the thousands, there was a study done by Texas that looked at how nursing leadership did, as far as not just the nursing care, but how the leadership did. And although nurses were dying, the nurses stepped up. And we found that the leadership handled COVID differently than the nurses did. The nurses stepped up, but the leadership displayed passive, avoidant behavior, and they were probably scared that they would contract COVID. But with limited resources and with nurses dying, we continued providing care. Another thing is the masks that people wear. Did you know they were implemented during the Spanish flu of 1920? According to the book, Taking Care, The Story of Nursing and Its Power to Change the World, Clara Barton started the people to wearing masks. She saw this in Switzerland under the Red Cross. And the Red Cross that we have today came from Switzerland. Clara Barton petitioned President Chester Arthur and asked him to bring the Red Cross to America. And what he did, he signed a treaty making the Red Cross a part of the Geneva Convention, and it continues today to help victims of disaster, to do first aid. You know, the Red Cross also does emergency response and preparedness, and assist victims of natural disasters in other countries. So these are facts about nursing practice that have made a major impact on our world. Another thing is that the third point, nursing demonstrates that anyone can receive and deserves care. Nursing has provided care in the worst conditions imaginable. There were a group of African American nurses, according to the book, Black Angels. It's the untold story of nurses who helped to cure TB. These nurses came from the South to work in a New York City sanatorium in 1929. At that time, there were no antibiotics, no antivirals to treat tuberculosis. These nurses took care of the poor in a place that was deemed a place where no one left alive. So these New York officials promised these nurses good pay, career opportunities, and escape from Jim Crow to lure them to New York City. The Caucasian nurses quit as soon as TB started to spread. So the scientists and doctors, which worked in the hospitals, they worked on a cure while the nurses kept the patients alive. And these nurses were spit upon, they were insulted, but they continued to provide care for 30 years, and a cure was found for tuberculosis. Doretha Dix is another nurse that fought for the rights of the mentally ill and for prisoners. According to the book, Taking Care, The Untold Story of Nursing and How Nursing Changed the World, at that time, the mentally ill were confined to asylums and restrained. But Dix advocated for the end to these practices. She felt that treating patients at home would cause their conditions to improve and they wouldn't feel so isolated. And she also served as a superintendent of nurses during the Civil War. Nurses have made an impact on the world, and they help all types of people. Nursing can be a challenging as well as rewarding career. Do you ever wonder if you could become a nurse? There are different types of licenses: licensed practical nurse, registered nurse, advanced practice nurses, midwives, the nurse doulas, nurse anesthetists, nurse practitioners. I myself am an LPN. I have 28 years experience, but I also hold a bachelor's degree in health education and promotion, and I'm seeking a second degree in nursing. I went to a vocational school and I earned licensure in 18 months. And the most brutal part was learning the drugs. I stayed awake at night with flashcards trying to learn the side effects and the safety measures for the medicines that I was giving the patients. I faced challenges working as a nurse. I was nervous at the sight of blood. I had worked with pregnant women. I had worked with the mentally ill, with drug addicts, and I was never afraid. But one day while working at the nursing home, a lady fell and hit her head. My stomach was weak. There was blood everywhere. Thank God I had good nursing assistants to collaborate with me. They cleaned her up, they cleaned up that blood, and they got her vital signs. I contacted the family. I asked them to please send her to the ER so that she could get checked out with this head injury, and they declined. So there was nothing I could do. Okay. So over time, I was able to overcome my fear of blood, and that's why I say that nursing is the most rewarding vocation I could have ever chosen. I worked as a school nurse, I worked as a home health nurse, I worked as a site nurse, and I currently work as a case manager for an insurance company, and I review medical claims daily, and I work from home since COVID, and COVID has changed the world. So there are many different areas of nursing as well. So nurses are the hands on your shoulder when you receive your test results. We're with you when you enter the world. We're with you when you leave. We love to rock and spoil your babies in the hospital nurseries. In conclusion, we do more than shots, give shots and medicines. We dress wounds, check blood sugars, breathing techniques. We teach. I discuss COVID-19 and the Spanish flu. I pose how it posed a challenge to nurses. I also taught that nursing demonstrates that everyone deserves comfort, and nursing can be a challenging and rewarding career. This speech informed you on the importance of nursing practice, health care, and social assistance being the largest employers of people in the United States, according to the Census Bureau of 2020. Thank you for listening.
You're welcome.